In this video, I'm going to show you the best and easiest defenses to use in College Football 25. Each of these defenses will need only a few adjustments, so even if you're a beginner, they will still work for you. Now, I've been competing in football games for a very long time, and along the way, I've made thousands of dollars and coached hundreds of players. So I can guarantee you that everything I show in this video will work for you. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed the video, because there will be no better place for college football and Madden 25 tips this year. The first defense I'm going to show you is the nickel 3-3 double mug that can be found in the following playbooks on screen. Now, this blitz allows you to get instant disengage heat, only sending 4 people, and it also has one of the best send 6 blitzes in the game. Now, the play we're going to call every time is called mid blitz, and to the best of my knowledge, this is the only play that allows you to use both of these blitzes I'm about to show you. Now, this will probably be the easiest defense to set up in the entire video because it only requires one adjustment. So to set this up, all I'm going to do is press the X or A button and press down on the right stick. Now, this player will be your user. You could select another player on the field, but the rule of thumb is the player that's by default manned up on the running back, so that's my free safety here, that should usually be your user. Then all I'm going to do is blitz him, as I mentioned, X or A and down on the right stick, and then come really close to the line right over the center, right into the point where you see that blue bar pop up. That will tell the offensive line that they need to block you, even though that you are actually using this player and may play in coverage. So what you will see is when our opponent snaps the ball, we're gonna get some crazy edge heat from both outside linebackers, and sometimes if you get a really good hover, the middle linebackers will come in. So in this case, what you're seeing is both right there, we got the defensive end and the edge coming in clean. This is a very simple blitz, and it's a very effective blitz. And if our opponent wants to pick it up, they need to set up an advanced pass protection as well as block their running back. To run the send 4 version of this blitz, you are gonna have to make just a few adjustments. So we're gonna use the same player that we did before, and we're also going to blitz him the same way as we did before. Now, this is where you make your adjustments. So first, we're gonna pinch our defensive line by pressing left on the D-pad and down on the left stick. Then what we're gonna do is press left on the D-pad and down on the right stick to crash our defensive line down. And then to make this a truly 4-man disengage blitz, I like to put both my defensive ends, so in this case, we have both defensive ends, and we're gonna put them in zones. Now, this is completely up to you what zone you like to put them on, but if I'm basing out of man coverage, drag routes do really well against man, so to cover them, I'll actually put man coverage on my defensive ends and linebackers. So to do that, I'm pressing left on the D-pad twice, so square or X on Xbox, and left on the left stick. That puts my left player in a hard flat. Then left on the D-pad twice, my circle player, and then I will put a hard flat on him by pressing left on the left stick. So on that play, it's a total of 4 adjustments that you're making. You're pressing the buttons a few times, but only a total of 4 adjustments is still a very low amount of adjustments to set up a blitz that is this effective. So what we're going to do is just sit right over the center, and the majority of the time, you're gonna see that that middle linebacker will come in completely free. And you also notice that even if they block a running back, you're coming in so clean at them that you're pretty much going to insta-shed the running back or get a reach animation tackle on the quarterback. So once again, just to show you that it is a very consistent blitz and works the majority of the time, sending only 4 people against 6 blockers, we're gonna hover right here, and you could see that that middle linebacker comes in completely clean for an instant sack. The next defense I'm going to show you is called 3-3-5 penny, which can be found in the 3-3-5 tight playbook. Now, this defense gets instant heat, sending only 5 people, while it also allows you to play killer coverage defense, only sending 3. Now, one key thing to mention is that the blitz part of this defense is at its absolute best when your players have the quick jump ability. This ability gives players a better jump off the snap, which allows the blitz to come in much faster and more consistently. As a result, I highly recommend you use Ohio State or Texas, as they have the most quick jump ability players. It's also really important to mention that if you are using these teams, you want to make sure that the quick jump players are on the field. So go into your depth chart, make sure players like David G. Benda with quick jump, your right outside linebacker has quick jump, your left end, your right end, and even your defensive tackle have quick jump. So if you're using Texas or Ohio State, make sure to customize your depth chart so all the quick jump players are in the game. Now the play we're going to call when we're blitzing is Mike Blitz 0. To set this blitz up, it's actually very simple. All we're going to do is shift our defensive line away from the running back by pressing left on the D-pad and left on the left stick. So that shifts left, which is away from the running back. If the running back were on the left, you want to shift to the right. Then what you're going to do is press left on the D-pad and then up on the right stick to crash your defensive line up. And as long as you set it up just like this and hover over the center with your user with those 3 blue dots above him, you will see that this blitz will come in very quickly. So right there, the right outside linebacker came in completely clean. And then if I were to set this up a couple more times, you're going to see that the left outside linebacker also has the possibility of coming in clean. This is a very effective blitz simply because we are sending 5 people at our opponent only, and we're still able to come in very quickly and get a sack at the quarterback. So we're sending 1 less than they're blocking, and we're still getting this blitz to come in completely clean. To play coverage out of this defense, it is really important to make sure your shell is set to cover 0. So every play looks exactly the same, whether you're blitzing in cover 0 or even playing base coverage in cover 2. The first coverage defense I'm going to show you is cover 4 quarters, but we're going to run it like cover 4 drop. So we're going to set up the blitz the exact same way, but we're not actually going to blitz. So we're going to blitz our user, shift our defensive line left away from the running back, crash them up the exact same way, and then what we're going to do in coverage is press triangle or Y and then down on the right stick. This will put our outside linebacker and our slot corner in hard flats. So this will prevent them from throwing any very drag routes, flat routes, things of that nature. Then what we're going to do is put our right side linebacker in a vert hook, really whichever side of the field has the slot corner. So to do this, we're going to press right on the D-pad, X or A on Xbox, and down on the left stick. So the final defense actually looks like this. So number 1, it looks identical to Mike Blitz, so your opponent will not be able to know that you're in a cover 4 shell. They'll probably think you're still blitzing them. And on top of that, it's one of the best coverage defenses in the game for the most common combos you can play. So for example, if they were to run this super good play in bunch with the deep tight end corner route, what you would actually notice is that this will be completely covered and everything on the field will be covered as well. As you can see, number 1, the pass rush is super good. Even when you don't blitz, a lot of the time you're gonna get the pass rush in. So what we're going to do is set this up the exact same way. You can see you can do this very quickly. So once again, sit right here. And what you will notice is that the X receiver is completely covered, the flat is completely covered, and your opponent, the majority of the time, will be taking a sack. And on top of that, if our opponent wanted to call something a little bit different, let's say they wanted to flood one side of the field with crossing routes, so they were to run something like this. This is still very easy to stop. What you would actually notice is that the vert hook would be responsible for pretty much anything in the right side of the field. The hard flats would cover anything to the lower parts of the field, and you would be responsible for anything crossing the field. So what you will notice is when I snap the ball, I go and cover this crossing route, and everything on the field is completely covered. And what you will notice is the majority of the time, you're gonna get a coverage sack, or your opponent is gonna throw an interception directly at your face. Now, every coverage shell isn't perfect. Cover 4 drop can actually still be beat. If you're playing an intelligent opponent, what they will actually do is just have a short corner route on the right side of the field, and this will get under any deep zones, and you're gonna be able to throw a corner route every single time, and they're gonna have it pretty much wide open. So that's when this next coverage shell comes in that will help us cover both those short corner routes and the intermediate parts of the field. And you can imagine, if you know football, this is the one that you would probably call in this situation. The play is cover 2. It's remarkably simple and it's very easy to set up. So all I'm going to do is blitz my user, shift my defensive line, crash up the exact same way. And then the other adjustment I like to make is I will put a hard flat on my right side outside linebacker. And To do this, we're pressing X or A on Xbox, and then left on the left stick to put them in a hard flat. So it's kind of like a little bit of a Mabel on the right side of the field. The vert hooks will take anything over the middle of the field near the hashes, and we will be responsible for anything in the deep middle of the field. And what you will notice is if they run this exact same combo that they did that beat cover 4, our cloud flat will be in the perfect position to make a play on it and oftentimes get a very easy interception. So cover 2 is great when you want to play the short sidelines, which cover 4 drop can't necessarily play. Now, cover 2 also has some glaring weaknesses. Despite me saying our user is responsible for the deep middle of the field, it can be difficult for them to catch up to a streak route or even a deep post. So that's where this defense will come in. But first, let me show you exactly how cover 2 might get exposed. If they were to set up a combo that looks like this, with a deep corner route and a streak splitting the safeties, you will notice immediately that they're gonna be able to throw both the deep corner route and the tight end streak. So when I snap this ball, you could see that number 1, the tight end streak splits the safeties, and this could lead to an easy one-play score for our opponents. Obviously, we don't want that. And then on top of that, if you run a cover 2 defense as is, they will also be able to throw deep corner routes. So if they just wait just a little bit, you could see that the R1 corner route is wide open to the sideline. So we obviously don't want those things to happen to our defense, and that's where this other defense comes in, and I like to call it cover 3 invert. And this has been a staple in competitive Madden for a long time, and it will be and continue to be a staple in football gaming and college football 25. So what you can do actually is just call cover 2 once again, because we're actually going to set this defense up manually. And I also want to mention that this is a bit advanced, but if you learn it, I promise it will be worth your while. So the first adjustment we're gonna make is set up everything the same way we did our cover 2. So as you can see, it looks like this. But what we're going to do after that is we're going to put our left side safety by pressing triangle, triangle again, or Y, Y again, and then pressing it a third time, and then putting him in an outside third to the left. So as you can see, he will now go much further out to the left. Then what we're gonna do is grab this slot corner and put him in a middle third by pressing triangle, triangle, or YY, left bumper, and up on the left stick. This puts this player in a middle third. Then we're gonna do the same thing we did to our free safety to the right side safety. So triangle, triangle, X or A on Xbox, and we're gonna put him in an outside third to the right by pressing right on the right stick. A quick rule of thumb is if you want to put outside thirds or deep halves on the left side of the field, it's the left stick. If you want to put them on the right side of the field, it's the right stick. So this can take a little bit of time to learn, but this is one of the best ways to play defense in college football 25. So as you can see right now, I have the cover 3 invert set up. And I'm actually just gonna leave my user as so, and I'm gonna show you if they were to run that same combo that would have beaten cover 4, it would have beaten cover 2, you're gonna see that it'll actually be completely covered. If they try to throw this tight end, we have our slot corner right there to swat it away. And then I'm gonna show you that it will also cover both the deep corner route and the short corner route on this play. And what you will also notice, it is actually very quick to set up. As you can see, I'm already set up, so with just a little bit of practice, you'll be able to set this defense up just as fast. And what you will see is that the R1 receiver is completely covered by our outside third. So as long as you get a good click on, you're gonna be able to knock that out and pretty much get an interception. Of course, I can't with 2 controllers, but you could see your players right on top of that. And then finally, if they try to throw this short corner, you will see that this will be completely covered. So when I snap this ball, you're gonna see that that circle receiver corner route is covered by the cloud flat, and we can make a play on it and sometimes a pick 6. Now you might also say immediately, hey, do these cover all the other plays you showed me? Well, number 1, it will cover that short corner route. And then what if they were to call the play from the beginning with the super deep tight end corner route or super deep corner route? Well, you're gonna see that it'll actually cover that very well. If they just put a corner route on the field, they run something like this, you're gonna see that the outside third will come down and play that corner route, and it'll be a very easy interception or swat. And then last but definitely not least is if your opponent is flooding the middle of the field or across the field, let's say they were to set up something like this. Here we are. So they have a crossing route, a drag route, and a backside curl. This will also do a very, very good job at covering that. So what you're going to see is if I set this up like so, let's just put our user in a mid read to mimic what our user would actually do. You're going to see that every route on the field is covered very well. Number one, if they try to throw this post route, our cloud will come down to either make the tackle or completely break it up. And if you're really worried about it, you can be responsible for that with your user like you were in cover 4. And then on top of that, you can also put these linebackers in hard flats. So instead of having a vert hook on the left side of the field, which I think may not be necessary, you can put this linebacker in a hard flat by pressing right on the D-pad, square or X on Xbox, and left on the left stick. And if you do this, it's very difficult for them to flood any side of the field. So really, you're playing a chess game with your opponent, but in general, the odds are stacked in your favor because you are covering pretty much the majority of the plays they could put on the field. So this is a great coverage shell to base out of, and if you're an advanced player, you can really adjust to make this a complete headache for your opponent. While mixing in these coverage shells and the blitz, nickel 335 penny is one of the best defenses and easiest defenses to run in the game. If you're serious about getting better at College Football 25, you should definitely check out my exclusive content on victoryformation.gg. In it, we already have over 12 tips in the laboratory, as well as my full Charlotte tight doubles game plan. Just 2 of the tips I've already dropped include the best money route combo in the game and the best one play touchdown bomb in the game. And take an additional 50% off a membership with code SWOLO at checkout. The final defense I'm going to show you is the one that I believe is the absolute best, and that's 4-3 even 6-1 that can only be found in the 4-3 multiple playbook. Not only does this defense have the best send 6 blitz in the game, but it also has a 4-man disengage as well as stellar run defense. And like 335 penny, this defense benefits from the quick jump ability, so I highly recommend you use Ohio State or Texas. Now the play we're going to call when we're blitzing is Sam Will Blitz. To set this up, it's actually remarkably simple. Just like 335 penny, you are going to pinch your defensive line by pressing left on the D-pad and down on the left stick. Then what you're going to do is identify what side of the field the running back is on by just looking at it, right? So we're going to press left on the D-pad and left on the right stick to crash opposite the running back. So to set this defense up, all you're doing is pinching your defensive line and then crashing your defensive line opposite the running back. Then you can just sit right over the center like so, and you're gonna see that a lot of the time you're gonna get that come in just like so. As you can see, we just got both defensive linemen. In this case, that's the right side defensive tackle and the end come in completely clean, as well as the outside linebacker. That's 3 different people coming in completely clean on this blitz. Now, that happens the majority of the time, but sometimes only the left side outside linebacker will come in. But what you could see right now is why I think this is the best defense in the game, because it comes in so fast. And as long as you set it up like so, you're going to be able to get some of the best heat in College Football 25. Now, we also have a disengage from this defense, and you're going to set it up exactly like you did it in nickel 3-3 double mug. To set this up, all we're going to do is pinch our defensive line, left on the D-pad, down on the left stick, and then we're going to crash down by pressing left on the D-pad, down on the right stick, and it'll look like this. Then you can optionally put zone out your outside linebackers the same way we did it in Cub. You're right on the D-pad twice, the icon of the player we need to adjust, and then put him in any zone you want. I prefer hard flats. Then we just sit right here with our user. I actually like to blitz our user for the disengage. I think it makes it a little bit better. And when you snap the ball, you could see that everyone's going to bump into each other a little bit, and you're gonna have someone come in very clean, right? Make sure not to bump into your defensive line. You wanna be close enough where you're detected, but far enough where you don't bump into the defensive line. Your goal here is to get a one-on-one with the running back and have that player get a reach animation on the quarterback. And if they don't have the running back, well, then they're just completely screwed. But right there, you could see only sending 4 people. We have 2 people disengage, which just basically means they are let go by the offensive lineman. So I'll just show on this play. You could see over here, the center just lets go of our defensive tackle, and that allows the defensive end and that defensive tackle to come in completely free. So it's a fantastic disengage defense, and sending only 4 people, you can come in against 6 blockers. Now for run defense at a 4-3 even 6-1, you can still select Will Blitz, but I actually prefer selecting a cover 2 based defense. So I'll actually call Tampa 2. The reason I do this, you'll actually see, is because this puts the outside DBs in run fits. So to set up our run defense in 4-3 even 6-1, I first like to press by pressing triangle or Y and down on the left stick. This will bring down those outside corners that allows them to play their run fits a lot better. As you can see, the outside corner has either a contain angle, let me actually get the run fits back up, or a force defender angle. So force defender angle, which will make sure the run stays inside. And then to set it up, what I like to do is pinch my defensive line, crash my defensive line down. This will help eat up anything in the middle of the field. And then you can optionally blitz all your linebackers. I usually do it because sometimes in under center, you can get a very quick, easy sack because a defensive end or a linebacker will come straight through the line. So to do this, I press right on the D-pad and down on the right stick. So in this case, this is what it looks like. And all I'm gonna do here is, depending on what run I'm expecting, I'm likely thinking stretch to the right here, right? So I'll loop around and then I'll go make a tackle, like so. So in this case, you're gonna see they snap, it's a stretch, and we're gonna loop around and go make a tackle. And what you'll also notice with this defense is that when you pinch and crash down, sometimes the defensive end or the defensive tackle will come in completely free, which will make it so that your user doesn't actually have to do anything. So that's versus stretch. This is also very, very effective versus a play like power or dive, which is an interior run. This will still work very, very well. So as you can see, when I snap this ball and they actually perform their auto motion, we're gonna be able to have this in the backfield. You can see that that defensive end and our user are right there to make the tackle. So 4-3 even 6-1 has some of the best run defense in the game, simply because we have such a heavy box and we can get defenders in through the line completely free. Thank you for watching this video, and if you're looking for another video to help you win more games, you should definitely check out this video right here.